People, welcome to the Seattle Overload podcast, the Seattle Seahawks podcast, where Jose Luis, was that Jose Luis? Speaking of which, Jose, there is, are you familiar with the Real Madrid superstar Joselu?
No, I'm not.
Because I believe his name is a shortened Jose Luis, and he fired Real Madrid into the Champions League final.
Nice. That's really
It's
good.
basically the equivalent of LJ Collier, Griff. Like,
Yeah.
because he used to play for my team, Newcastle. It's the equivalent of LJ Collier, or maybe even a lesser player than that, going and just winning a team, a conference championship game.
Interesting. So does
Just like,
that,
what on earth?
does
Yeah.
it sting a little bit?
No, it doesn't really sting. It's just funny. It's like, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, good for him.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So Matty, I got two what do we call this part? The preamble. Two preamble topics.
Well, before that, Griff,
Okay.
I actually watched I watched a movie this weekend.
So that was one of them. I was gonna bring that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Two birds with one stone here. So how was Shutter Island?
Incredible. Never seen it before.
Movies are good, aren't they? You should watch more of them.
Yeah, it's just finding the time, So
Yeah.
So great film. Really enjoyed it. Then I went after watching films, I like going on Reddit or just the internet, right, to read like what people have said about them, just see what I thought compared to that. And then I went on Reddit, and oh my gosh, I thought I don't know what's wrong with people. I thought Shutter Island was a very clear cut, like obvious path. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen the 2010 film yet. But Reddit.
What were you getting at? Were they critical or were they surprised?
No, they're coming up with like alternate theories and going, well, what if this happened? Have you seen the film?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like, well, I don't want to spoil it for people. Yeah, they were just trying to find stuff which wasn't really there and just ignoring evidence which was pretty obviously pointing towards the actual like general conclusion and what the conclusion of the book is as well. Right.
When did you recognize that, okay, he is the one that is?
Well, what is the problem, Griff? Emily told me before the film,
oh no,
there's a big twist. And I was like, why would you tell me that? So immediately,
well, hold on, there's a twist in every movie.
I was immediately like, oh, why does he have a cut? Oh, this is a bit weird. But because I was looking for the twist, I like believed his story,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, right. So I thought that was the twist, but then to me the film wasn't about the twist. To me the film was really sad.
Oh, it's very
tragic. Yeah,
definitely. When they're coming over on the boat and he's in front of the mirror, I was watching with a former roommate, and I was like, okay, so he's for lack of a better word, he's got mental health issues. And she was like, how did you know that? I'm like, okay, they're clearly creating the foundation of the character that he has some severe problems that are. She was all ticked off, but
and then your roommate went on Reddit and posted all these alternative theories.
But I didn't know. It didn't get to me what was really like why, to the extent that he had mental health issues and what was going on until much later. But
no.
Anyway.
Anyway, very good.
Yeah.
Chris.
Okay, go ahead.
Chris, thank you so much for the donation, man. Does the F in Matty Brown stand for football? Chris, do you want me to lie or do you want the truth? Yes, it does stand for football. And then also, who is your pick for surprise roster cut? Jaron Reed, but you said surprise, Chris. So let's just go with that. We're going position of abundance. 32 years old. Cam Young, second year. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy to make Jaron Reed get cut, but Just pointing towards that there's young depth in that position, along with new culture. Reed had issues in Green Bay with a different culture. You just don't know, Griff.
Yeah, and with Reed, you can also get some of that cap space back if they want to do something else.
Yeah.
I would go for first, Chris. Thank you for that generous donation. We appreciate it. This is kind of obvious, but Daryl Taylor. Just, I mean, he's the only other one kind of
Wow,
name of
that would be
that makes sense.
crazy. That would be a crazy surprise.
Another one that isn't a surprise, but not a sure thing either. Would probably maybe be like Stone Forsythe.
Yeah, he didn't
Left tackle.
wasn't seen practicing, so at OTAs.
Yeah.
So
Derek Young. I mean, I like Derek Young.
Schneider's favorite.
Yeah, I want to see him get a chance, but you signed kind of a similar athlete in Chenault. Bobo emerged. They kind of want to make Eskridge happen, maybe. I don't know. So
yeah, I think that is a surprise, right? Whereas Eskridge getting cut would not be a surprise. I mean, Misfits put Kenny McIntosh. I don't think Kenny McIntosh being cut would be a surprise as much as he's a fan favorite for his draft cool running style, etc. last year. Like, he is on the fringe as a day 3 running back. So yeah, good question, and Chris, thank you for the donation. Right, Griff, what was your second preamble topic?
So this past week, I've had a lot of luck coming across wildlife in nature. I've seen.
Nice.
I went on a bear hunt. So my neighbors saw a black bear in their backyard.
Right.
The black bear bluff charged them through the window pane glass, like where it pretended to like almost like fake you out, like that kind of, but like took 4 or 5 steps. And then I wanted to go.
No, I don't know.
Well, black bears don't really charge people, but they will bluff charge you to try to intimidate you. And so me being me, I wanted to go find this bear and take a picture of it because I see bears all the time and I can rarely ever get them on camera. So I went back in the woods and I'm looking. I text my neighbor where he saw him. And I'm literally like 20 feet from where he saw him. So like their backyard kind of bleeds into the forest a little bit. And I can't find him. And so I go further back there. I go, okay, maybe he went further back. I go off trail a little bit. I get nervous. So then I go back and bring Brady, my dog, with me just because I wanted something extra to like scare it off if in case it did something. But the premise here is black bears are very timid toward humans. But the fact that this one bluff charged, I'm a little on edge, but I'm a little too confident, but I'm just comfortable enough to keep going. So I go back there with the flashlight, and then this big figure just runs in front of me, in front of the trail, and I shine the flashlight on it, and I see it. And the flashlight, I think, makes it stop. So he stops and turns around and stares at me. I take the picture, and then the flash from my phone, I think, scares him. And then he turns around and hauls ass, runs away. And that was it. But I got the picture. I posted it. Then the following day, I see like a raccoon just walking across the street in broad daylight. And yesterday, I see a coyote earlier in the day. And then I see a bobcat. I get a video of him. I posted that. And then I saw some ferrets, and I'm like, well, I know we have ferrets that live up here, like weasels, but I rarely ever see them. But I see.
Is it wet there?
What's that?
Don't they like wet stuff?
Yeah, like wet, murky earth. I don't know.
Damp.
They burrow. And I just saw all these creatures of the forest. I felt like Snow White, like I'm summoning the wildlife to me the second I step foot in nature.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Quite. So I did a weekend. I went to Windsor. Are you familiar with Windsor?
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
Yep, there is a castle there. Yep, and Legoland's also there. Very exciting. But what I went to do was a walk. I saw a buzzard. Very exciting.
Nice. Are they rare?
No. There's lots of buzzards where I'm based. but it's cool watching them. But I have an obsession with like trying to watch it as long as possible because I really want to see it dive down and attack a field mouse.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that happen. They always fly away.
I've seen, not to steal your thunder here, but I've seen a hawk dive bomb a
Yeah.
sparrow in my backyard.
You
and
probably
eat it.
have me beat on the on that sort of stuff. The birds. That's
Anyway,
crazy.
I saw it.
And then,
too.
oh great, okay, cool. Anyway, but I also saw the Copper Horse, Griff,
Okay.
which is an 1831 equestrian statue of George III. Okay, now why I'm talking about this is I found this funny. Okay, so firstly, it cost in modern day money £2.5 million to build. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
But secondly, George IV built it for his dad, right? But that was viewed as very funny because he didn't actually like his dad. So it's an ironic inscription on it in Latin, which means to George III, the best of fathers, King George IV. They despised one another. So, haha,
Thanks.
very funny. And then, even better, George IV laid the foundation stone on his birthday, but the statue was only completed 2 years later, which was over a year and a half after his own death. So he didn't even see the statue, which he was like building to his dad, who he hated, go up because he was died.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, it's quite funny
rough.
though. Yeah.
But
Anyway,
still cool to go see that piece of history.
yeah, I took a picture by it. I was actually looking because you know whenever I see something which is older than a lot of things in America, I take a picture by it and pull my amazed face for you.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I need to send you that.
Appreciate
It's
that.
not on my phone though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can look forward to that.
I will. Well,
Okay.
anyway, so we preambled really well, I thought. So now
It was just brilliant.
now you can hit it.
Welcome to the Seattle Overload podcast, where Griffin and I are doing a double tape review. Yep, we're into day 3 of the NFL draft, where the Seahawks ended up spending quite a few picks. And there's kind of positional buckets that apply to some of these picks. Up first, we're going to study the corners because it's kind of a positive note in some ways. Obviously, I like my DBs. Griff isn't averse to them either. And we're going to look at Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James. It's very easy for us because not only did the pair of them play at the Senior Bowl, so much handy film of them on the field together in the practices, but they also both played for Auburn. War Eagle. So what's funny is when Seattle picked Pritchett, as people who are watching the live stream will know, when Seattle picked Pritchett, I was watching the 5th round pick, and I tried to watch him at the Senior Bowl, and I was like, oh, I think that's the guy with an Auburn helmet. That'll be him. He looks a bit small, though. Oh, wow, love the technique there. And then I quickly realized that was not Pritchett. It was someone wearing a different number. Then, when they picked DJ James in the 6th round, I realized it was DJ James, who I'd been watching for a bit of and liked his tape. So, nice, handy kind of crossover there. So, we'll be kind of revisiting that stuff. I've done a cut-up of both of their Senior Bowls, and we also, Griff, can watch... should we watch the Iron Bowl versus Alabama?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Level of comp. Yeah. Griff, any more thoughts on these two guys before we're going to interlace our, thoughts throughout the film breakdown as we do. Any more kind of overall thoughts on this stuff?
No, I think we're intrigued by both of them, right? Probably more so James, especially his ability to play inside a nickel. They want to keep their options open there for both zone and man, so that Witherspoon is only playing as much nickel as they would ideally have him play, unless we have to play him there, which means you can't put him outside when you want to. So,
yeah. So on that subject, should we start with DJ James at the Senior Bowl? Or should we start with the Iron Bowl?
Let's do Iron Bowl.
Okay. Well, oh gosh. I better not choke here.
Or Senior Bowl if you've got it up.
No, it's fine. Now, chat, again, please stay calm. I know it's a zipped file. The zipping is not the issue. I'm fine with the unzipping. The issue is the fact that this is lots of individual clips. So when we've seen the clip, we can't go back. We're also going to have the end zone, then the scoreboard, and then the wide copy. So enjoy that. Now, on the subject of DJ James, I think what's interesting to me is Seattle, other than Devin Witherspoon, lacks kind of a pure corner type of nickel who could come in and play man-to-man and play matchups. And playing matchups is something that Mike Macdonald's mentioned. Now, DJ James may not start, but he gives them some depth in that area. And remember, Mike Macdonald had Arthur Millette as his corner back when he was with the Baltimore Ravens, and Millette's in that 5'9" type mold of almost throwback corner, lighter type as well. Not as light as James, who's right here's on the right-hand side of the field. But I imagine James is going to add some weight in the NFL. Just eat right, do all that good stuff. Now, this have you watched this tape before, Griff?
Yes.
And so, what did you come away with from the two corners in this game?
That they have movement skills. They definitely have movement skills, and they can keep up with NFL level talent. But they're not without their blemishes. James can squeeze in breakers. Pritchett can match long speed, but it's to what degree. Pritchett can lose guys when the receiver starts to sit down or break a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good tackle there. And I think one thing just to add to what you were saying there, Griff, is they're both willing enough tacklers. I mean, if you contrast that with, and he's going to get picked on a bit, but Reek Woolen's tackling was an issue last season. And both these guys are not afraid to come up and make a tackle, which, I mean, you'd think it was obvious, but there's obvious, you can prioritize different things on defense. And both these guys have the tackling, which I think Mike Macdonald would want to see. Now, I should say also James is wearing number 4. Pritchett's wearing number 1. That will continue on the Senior Bowl footage as also. I mean, that's pretty good leveraging on in a cover 3, right? Of not being hurried into chasing the wide inside release into the boundary, but just being able to stay square on that route.
Mm-hmm.
And at the top, this is James, by the way.
What do you think of him staying square, though, to the line of scrimmage like that?
Well, I don't think there's any reason necessarily with the QB shoulder point and the route he gets to open. Like, he's able to play top down on the route.
Yeah.
Why? What was your thought process there?
Well, I would
you'd
just
expect him to bail, put his butt to the sideline.
Yeah, to half turn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah.
But he's in control, though, so.
Very controlled, yeah, very controlled. And then at the top of the screen, Pritchett does bail after reading for quick game, but he's to the field side. You maybe would like him to overlap that a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ball's caught behind his strong hook player. That the catch isn't on him, but the overlapping of this seam could happen a moment quicker, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see the burst out of the bail, though, the sticking the foot in the ground and going.
Right.
Now, James also, his ball skills at the Senior Bowl were super disappointing to me. But he did have some production on the football in college. I believe he had 3 picks in his final year. And in this game, he's attributed with 2 pass breakups. So I don't know if it was just like the Senior Bowl was a bad thing. I'd need to watch more of his college stuff, but it seemed to me like a ball tracking thing of not understanding the trajectory and when he could play the ball and how he could play the ball.
So he's really comfortable in the pedal.
Yeah, and he kind of he has to open up with that. That's kind of a weakness of the. Sorry, I just went back too far. I mean, it's just the weakness of the coverage right now. It's crazy dropping 8, but the flat is going to be an issue. This is where his Senior Bowl transition shined. His ability to throttle down at this point and sort of stop so fast. But I also think, to me, if he really backed himself here, I do wonder about, or he had longer arms. I wonder if he could play the football here. It's almost like he sort of drives under thinking he's just going to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Or, force the guy out of bounds. I just didn't see the necessarily. I mean, we're talking about a 6th round pick, but there wasn't that playmaking aspect, which I think maybe could be in his game, and Karl Scott will be trying to unlock. I mean, if he is playing the nickel, he's going to get thrown out a ton.
Yeah.
Or be around the ball a ton, I should say, so have more opportunity to make plays. Pritchett with a good overlap up the top of the screen. Good enough.
In chat, what Matty means by overlap is when you're playing cover 3 or quarters and you've got two guys up the seam, or cover 3, that is, and your number 1 is vertical and the slot is vertical as well. You have to be ready to help on the seam if he breaks out or stays vertical. So he's overlapping to the number 2 slot receiver,
which we see from DJ James here. He is in a very good position. He's not too far over the top. This 2 is coming up his seam. This guy is no longer his concern. The threat to his deep third is this dude.
Yeah. So this classic smash rule, right? Number 1 hitches, go play 2.
Yeah, and you see, because 1 hitches, which James has communicated here, it allows this curl flat player or curl player, whatever, seam curl into flat player to drive this top down.
Yeah. Is 1 off the ball pre-snap?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a pre-snap indicator, right? So that means James knows his film study. He probably knows what they do off of that alignment.
Yeah. He seems very in tune to that, which again, I mean, obviously the most prominent Seahawks example is Richard Sherman, and always talking about receiver splits and understanding what you're going to get away. But Griff's talking about this guy being off the ball, this guy being on the ball. And ultimately, it's an indicator of that. But you need this type of skill set in the NFL. You have to be able to recognize formations as a corner. So it's not just pure athletic ability here. Whereas it's something that Reek Woolen would have been learning, to that point where he went in the day 3 region because of how raw he was, despite his athletic ability.
Right.
And, that was raw technically, but it was also he knew some routes from being a receiver and some route combinations, but in terms of the playing corner, the finer details to the playing corner, the intangibles of that, he was a bit less polished. Now, the 32-inch arm thing, Griff, hasn't been, a thing in Seattle for quite a while. Obviously, Spoon himself didn't have 32-inch long arms. They were thinking of playing him with nickel, but Woolen did. But then you have people like DJ Reed. You've spoke before about how you feel the type of corner in Seattle is fairly similar compared to the Ravens. Like, do you view these guys as a change in cornerback drafting philosophy from Macdonald and Schneider, or is it kind of
Um,
more of the same, or is it just too early?
I feel like it's probably too early, especially when you're talking about day 3 guys. But Baltimore does value height, um, no matter where they draft, what round. Height seems to be a big deal for them at corner.
Mm,
So
yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So here, this is a lot of cushion from Pritchett over the top. Now, I'm interested in what coverage they're playing. I think he's like the deep half, and this is
yeah,
the
invert.
help. So he's trying to get over this, but that is a lot of cushion.
Yeah, Tampa 2 invert looks like.
Yep. I mean, the coverage works, but well, until the play breaks down. But Pritchett for his athletic testing, and I know some of the comparisons been to like a Tyreek Stevenson, who the Bears got last year, right?
Mhm.
But I expected a bit more splash from his game.
Splash meaning like
Like
plays on the ball.
plays. Yeah,
Yeah,
plays on the football. Yeah,
that's more James's deal, right?
seems to be. Except, as I've said, plays on the football. Maybe there's an issue there with the how he plays the football itself. But I think he's closer to the catch points.
Right.
See, there's James again getting involved versus the run.
And that definitely translates toward him playing nickel, right?
Yep. Yeah, that I mean that's a very similar type of thing. He'll have to do a nickel more often. Fighting through the block, being the outside of the blocker and making contact on the ball carrier, and ultimately bringing him down. Now, McDonald's defense, is to Griff's point, they're often going to ask the nickel to be in the run fit.
Yeah.
And is that him again?
Coming down.
Coming down from back here? No. Never
No.
mind. 6, not 4.
Yeah, he's completely out of the fit there, but
See, this is pretty rusty from Pritchett. But it looks like they're in. Are they in press man? They're in something while they're here. They're matching the slot fade. See, again, this is interesting from James. Look at how he's eliminated that slot fade. There's no room for that throw.
yeah, what do you think though about how he?
No, that's weird. Yeah, that's funky.
Well, because he has inside leverage help from the quarter safety,
Right.
so
So I guess he's thinking he can squeeze it to that. I wonder what the coverage is here. It's obviously like a slot check.
he abandons it pretty quickly in baseball terms though, and cuts that off, staying high and on top.
Yeah.
Because he loses his defender help, right? When
Yeah.
he goes outside, so he makes sure to stay on. He makes sure to stay on top. So that's pretty intuitive.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes in football you're not going to be in the perfect position initially, but it's how you adapt
Yeah.
into the play and cover the receiver, right?
Yeah. Go back to Pritchett though, if you can.
Oh, I can't now.
Okay. Well, what didn't you like about that play though? Because that was an example of him in the press.
Not very patient.
He
Playing kind of
oversteps
sped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can be patient and still like foot fire, right? But he looked like he was almost overcorrecting or over jumping, you know.
Mm-hmm. So that makes you think about like diamond
Which is
release slants and stuff.
yeah, well, yeah, he's just liable to get worked by NFL release patterns. Like he'll be wrong, you know.
Hmm.
He'll create too much leverage one way and get beat. This is an interesting rep from both of our guys here. So what is interesting as well is in this game, James played on the right, and we need to see if he was like the field corner, and Pritchett played on the left. But in the Senior Bowl, Pritchett played exclusively on the right, and that stands out because obviously the kind of theory with him at least is, you know, he's a good athletic tester. He's not quite on the level of Woolen,
Right.
but you know, just thinking about Woolen and his fit on the team, I mean, he's less secure a fit than Witherspoon. And it's a big year 3 for Woolen, given how year 2 went for him. And so maybe Pritchett is there to directly push Woolen on the right side, especially with what they've said about James. This is interesting red zone technique. It's a shame that we kind of lose it.
It's very, maybe it's the way Auburn coaches it, but it feels very unconventional how they will open up their hips and when they won't. But James seems like such an intuitive player that it kind of he can work within that. I don't know. What do you think about that? Like right there, he's trying to keep, like he's almost working to inside leverage. Well, does he have inside leverage originally in the alignment?
No, I don't think so.
He's outside, then he weaves to inside leverage.
I think it's just trying to. Yeah, I don't know.
He's got plenty of inside help. It's not like it's weird, right?
Yeah, very weird.
But you can tell that he's comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's like trying to stack the receiver and make him go the long way around. But
yeah, I mean, it's bizarre, but you totally see how the feet and traits translate to the inside.
Yeah, and maybe it's a fast 3 thing, because the last time we saw it, he was playing square in a fast 3. This looks more like cover 4, but maybe their rule is that the safety's gonna, because we've lost this guy on the 3, the safety then has to play the 2 up, so you're on an island on here if you go to fast 3 to your side.
That's really smart. Yeah.
Do you think? Like, because they've all pushed out here crazy. So maybe it's just saying your help in the deep isn't there, so you pitch your tent inside and play the fade.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is odd. It's a very odd way of it's just odd. It just doesn't translate to the NFL. Because if you look at, and thinking football saying quarters rules, yeah, that's sort of what we're getting at. But at the top of the screen, it is interesting how they play that out.
Yeah, to your point about the fast 3 and everything, I mean, like pretty standard protocol in like stump and stubby. The corner has inside leverage, right? So maybe with fast 3, he's weaving to inside.
Yeah, it's just the fact he started outside leverage, right?
Yeah.
Which maybe was a disguise thing. Like maybe they're trying to show that it's 3 buzz again. Like he's got his butt to the sideline. I don't know.
He's kind of tipping his blitz there. James is at the bottom.
Yeah, he's like falling over.
He's never aligned that way without a blitz from what I've seen.
And he's leaning, looking hard inside. Like they 100% know he's coming.
Not a great rep.
No, kind of. I mean, he's trying to dip through the contact, right? But to sort of wrong arm this, and it's almost like he's trying to spill the block, isn't it? He has to keep his outside shoulder here. Like as soon as he makes that decision, he is out the play, and there's no edge.
He is the force player.
But I mean, from a contact, like the way he takes the contact on in terms of the technique and the leveraging, great, but the willingness is there. This is a different play. Sorry. Okay, so we switched around now. So now, so James playing to the field. Pritchett's the boundary guy. So what did you think of Auburn's defense overall? Because both Pritchett and James mentioned how they played press man in college. Obviously, in this game, we're not seeing much of it. But how does Auburn's defense and the techniques that they gave their guys translate to, what they'll be asked to do in Seattle and showcase their abilities?
I mean, Macdonald has a cover one package that he likes to use on early downs. They'll be anywhere between like 15 and 25% of the snaps. Cover three press. I mean, the rules are the same at the line of scrimmage, so it's definitely going to be a piece of their offense.
Right.
Of their defense, sorry. It'll be a pretty big deal. But how would you answer that question?
Well, I think, I mean, we're not seeing too much of the press man stuff, but like here, just the structure of this, and some of their quarters principles is similar to what Macdonald will do. I think they ran a variety of pass coverages, which that's not exclusive to Auburn, right? Like in college, you have to do quite a lot, but they're quite multiple. So again, I think that translates. There's a lot of different checks that happen in the defense. SEC competition, obviously, and I think it's just they're asking them to be versatile corners in this system, and so that's what Macdonald will want. Also, here's nice reps for both of them, really. So this is good from Pritchett, not taking this, hinging, understanding that this corner route could happen, but also the goal line is here. So we're going to look at the QB and we're going to get deep and be aware of this throw, and we're almost baiting it. We've got a butt to the sideline here for the flat here to rally down. Meanwhile, on this side of the formation, we've got James with his butt to the sideline here, looking good, and the way he can plant on the shallow. Now he stops because he sees the QB roll out, but just that movement and the cut he takes on it's a very low. It's like a designed slow slant, I think, to get this, in their mind, get the corner open behind, right? We don't know the exact coverage rule. Looks like they're just basically locking on to their guys here. But for him to drive this is it's just an example of his burst. I'm sure we'll have better examples.
Yeah. One of the premium translatable reps for college corners, how do they handle inbreakers? So, and you have to hunt for them. They're hard to find.
Right, something John Schneider spoke about as well when they drafted Witherspoon. He mentioned, and I think Pete Carroll did as well, but the ability to handle the deep over routes or race routes where you get in a foot race across the field.
It's like more zone acuity there. Reduce stack.
Is it? I think this is man.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah. It's a man pressure, isn't it?
Yeah. It would have been like one robber, but he's on the back. It would have been nice if we had seen this play out all the way, because he kind of sees the ball come out, so it doesn't need to drive here.
Right.
So he ends up just driving to the actual throw.
Mm-hmm.
But here they're clearly handling, first off the waterfall, second off.
Is that top hat? I
Yeah,
forget.
I think you can call it that. Yeah. And obviously here he's playing his divider, right? So the guy is inside his divider, so he's going to play outside leverage on the route because his help's in the post. But I really wish we'd seen how he could drive to the top of this route. But instead, the ball's out. Wow. So condensed splits. So they're playing square because there's more of a threat of these quick out and ups.
So he kills the quick out, kind of like the Omaha route.
Yep. And I also really like the controlled feet here to. There's only one crossover, but then to work back like this with staying over the top of the route on the rollout.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's impressive. So this is kind of what you're speaking about with Pritchett, Griff, about the awareness in zone.
Yeah.
No, I don't love the way of playing cover 2 right here, just in general.
So he's a cloud corner right now, right?
Yeah, and
It's invert at the bottom.
I don't know if they. Do you think they're trying to? Are they reading the 2?
Well, I mean, here he's just playing high. I don't think he's wrong here.
But like, is this a palms thing here, or is he a pure like area type guy?
Are you asking me, could they be playing palms here? Or
Yeah,
are you, no, this looks like,
it's
I mean,
just a
to me,
pure area, right? With
yeah,
a
yeah, pure,
sim.
yeah.
Yeah. I just wish. I mean, if QB's looking here, check this route here because your curl is here. You've got your middle run through here. The weak spot is here, right?
Yeah.
No,
Ideally, your curl player keeps depth, but
yeah, it's hard not to take that shallow. I mean, even if he keeps depth, there's still a window. Like if he's here, right? Now that is your zone. And James is playing like quarters on this side,
well,
or is it half?
I think he's an inverted half player.
Right, makes sense. That's fine. Would like some awareness of that, but so another kind of very obvious lean to him as a blitzer, right? Like he's way over.
Yeah. I'm surprised the receiver doesn't point it out at this rate.
And this is 3rd and 5.
But Pritchett up top.
Yep, we get a pass break up here.
So filtering through the two receivers and then breaking on the lower one's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and they're bringing the pressure, right? So he kind of understands. I wonder, they're like playing for 3/2 at the top. So that could be like a palms type thing. But obviously from off,
Mm-hmm.
But they're clear, they're playing like a triangle type deal. Yeah, that's an impressive because he's still over the top of the first guy, right? That's an impressive angle. Now those are the type of undercuts I wish James had the kind of boldness to do a bit more often. Good hip flip.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hardest route when you've got your butt to the sideline is the deep out to drop step and flip back, but that's pretty fluid.
Pretty fluid, and that's right there. Another thing that translates to the slot, that change of direction.
Yeah. And smaller type of corner. I mean, like Darius Slay, his bread and butter is this type of transition. Top of the screen, does Pritchett getting in? He kind of guesses the route there. High school receiver. Oh, this could be an interesting one. This looks like bad cover 2 is my guess from the end zone copy. Yeah. Well, that's like a bust, isn't it? Because I don't know what this guy's doing if he's going to play like that.
The safety thinks he's playing quarters.
Yeah. You would like... I mean, obviously, if the safety's playing a deep half, you would like Pritchett to stay square and get a hand on this receiver rather than sort of he takes one shuffle step outside, but his vision's all on the QB. I mean, really, to get a reroute, you have to kind of scan or play cross-eyed on the one. Because if this guy's releasing outside, then the weakness of the coverage is the whole shot outside of the deep half safety, and the deep half safety has to get wider. So you would... it's interesting. I mean, we saw Pritchett not do it either. It is interesting how he didn't get hands on. And just hinged with... I mean... If the receiver's there, maybe a hinge is more understandable. But here, there's not, considering he lined up outside the numbers, it's like one. Basically, if you've done one outside step and haven't got a reroute and hinged in cover 2, that's not really good enough. I guess it's 2, but yeah. Anyway, clearly a bust, which we don't know who that's on, but they rush 4. Oh, they rush 3. Looks at the top of. I mean, that could be cover 3, but I imagine that's quarters. So maybe it was meant to be quarters down here. Maybe it was quarter half. We don't really know. They're out of whack. I mean, this is impressive movement. Again.
Yeah.
So once more, one's off the ball, so it's an indicator that he might, why would he do that with this guy on the ball? Indicator that they might run him under, they can quickly change like that. So the gaining of leverage while playing almost square so that you're in a position to drive on the flap throw, you haven't opened your hips immediately, meaning you have to then throttle down again, and you're going to be late to the underneath throw. But to then squeeze over the top of this 2 is impressive.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he doesn't really squeeze that route over the middle, but clearly that's not what they were asking their guys to do. Also, he knows the guys are scrambling. I think the QB kind of indicates that to him, that that's not being thrown. How does Pritchett do at the top of the screen?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, about as good as he could do. And this is the thing with evaluating college corners. You get probably 3 reps in a game if you're lucky, where they're of real value. So that, again, from James is of value here because he gets a dig and he actually does get to drive with it. So there's no real plant or cut, but again, it's the acceleration to stick with it, which, shows he has some burst, right?
Yeah, he recovers a little bit.
Not the most impressive, but
he kind of loses him.
Yeah.
Like in the Rams, that ball's coming out getting caught.
Yeah.
But the recovery, though, like if it's on the back side of the play, not the front side.
Yeah, so Griff, do you want to promote the work you've been doing?
What work? What work have I been doing?
Well, you've been starring on a podcast.
Oh. Yeah, I was on Hawk Blogger earlier. Had a good time with Rob and Brian. Chit-chatting about stuff, football stuff. You guys can go check it out if you want.
What and that's on the Hawk Blogger channel.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've been doing that in the mornings, right?
No, I'm doing that at like 2 p.m. Pacific time. Brian's turned it into Hawk Blogger afternoons.
On most Sundays, right?
Right.
Check it out, people. And also, what is pertinent is when we're looking at this, I wrote an article at SeahawksOnTape.com, which I will include in the description along with a link to Griff stuff, on how Macdonald's man coverage in the second half of the season collapsed with the Ravens in 2023 and why there's a relationship. Well, there's a potential relationship between that and also his run defense collapsing in the second half of that season, and how that could be of even greater impact in Seattle, given they lack the linebackers to play cover 3, and if they're struggling to stop the run, it would suit them to have an extra hat in the box, but if they can't get an extra hat in the box via cover 3, they'll have to play cover 1, and if they can't play cover 1, then what do? Then the NFC West, where teams are going to be good at beating cover 3, and they're going to be good at running the football. So, yeah. I found it an interesting article to write about, and it links us back to the corners. Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's great. It's the best article you'll ever read.
Oh, dear.
Especially articles on cover 1 regression and run defense regression.
Right. Like, so many people are talking about that in the optimistic times. Do Alabama just run the ball out here? Oh, here we go. So stacked. So I imagine this is first in, first out from these two.
Classic banjo.
Yeah. Oh, this is nice from James.
That's really good.
Yeah, because this is really hard, guys, because James is thinking here realistically that he has to take the first guy in, and if it's in, it's in. But Alabama's running a type of beta designed to mess with this. So great patience to read that this guy's out, so this guy's not his responsibility anymore. This is his dude. And then trying to get hands on to deny space, and then driving to that low hip and there's no room for the football. This is what I mean, though. I think the scrappiest playmakers here are brazen enough to, at this point here, stick their foot in the ground and pick off the football. It's a really risky play. I just don't think he's necessarily got that high end of ball hawking in him. And that's not just informed of this play. Like, it's informed of the Senior Bowl stuff as well.
Right.
But, I mean, that's a nickel right there.
Definitely. That's Justin Coleman at his peak right there.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing to note, isn't it? That this nickel corner position in the NFL, we you may forget with Witherspoon being such a lofty pick and his ability to play there, and maybe the league taking it a bit more seriously in recent years. I think about guys like L'Jarius Sneed getting paid. I think about how college has really started utilizing like the best athlete at that position. I think about Jalen Ramsey and how he got accented by playing that star role and playing inside. But it used to be that Seattle would find really good nickel play from a day 3 guy or like a vet free agent on a very minimal deal. Even Marcus Burley played good football for a bit. They got good play out of them. Now, did they play a lot of cover 3? Yeah, but there's a skill to playing cover 3 and nickel, and they also played a fair bit of cover 1. Did they have a pass rush? Yes, but they kind of identified the guys. And you think about the old school nickel skill set. I mean, again, as we've mentioned, but 1, it's not that highly valued. It's a day 3 type player. But 2, it's kind of what James is, where you got this quickness, you got agility and change of direction, which shows up on tape. You're scrappy, you stick your nose in it, and you can be a bit smaller. Think about the old school slot receiver. I mean, they're the smaller, more agile, quicker guys as well. And so I think, I'm not saying that when Seattle plays Miami, for instance, they have Miami on their schedule, right? The Jordan Brooks revenge game.
Yep.
I'm not saying you put D.J. James immediately on a Tyreek Hill, but the vision would be that he goes on the quicker guys in the slot or get put in the slot, and that enables you to play matchups. And then if you face a bigger type slot, well, then maybe James isn't your guy.
It was okay there.
Yeah, that was all right, wasn't it?
Nub tight end running a curl.
Yeah.
Gotta make it.
Good tackle.
That's good. He gives late force because he's got to turn the ball back, wraps under the block, and brings him down still.
Yeah, that's a good play. Finding the way. You get another one here. Should say also he's playing into the boundary now, and on the left. So I'm interested to see how they actually play. So another tackle. Did you spot anything like field boundary left, right? Seems like they're kind of just splitting it.
Yeah, I didn't see a rhyme or reason, but I wasn't looking for that either. Could have been matchup dependent.
Right.
Because Burton is maybe one guy on Burton, I'm not sure.
Here's Pritchett playing nice in cover 4. Good kind of reading of the QB looking hard here. His guy vertical, so let's turn into the fade. That's just an example of he is quick. It's just like the feet and the transition here is like there's a double take compared to James, where we've seen him immediately be able to stick and go. Like stutter, you know.
Hmm.
but not afraid to make a hit either. I think this is so. Here's Pritchett blitzing. Can you tell?
I think he does a little better job on that one.
With his disguise.
Well, he kind of peaks a little bit, but
Yep. Oh, this is nice from James.
that's really good.
That's
Does that get caught? No.
no. He breaks that up. That's really nice.
That's a monster rep. That right there is. He's very athletic in his pedal, isn't he? Look, he's inside the route before the receiver even breaks because he knows what's coming.
Yeah, this is beautiful. But to the sideline play. Two is inside. Again, thinking what route concepts. If two goes inside like this, you're likely to get this type of thing because they're trying to move this guy out the window.
Especially if the quarterback is looking
away
to his left first, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to scan backside.
Yeah. This type of pass breakup is like the type of thing Spoon was able to do, where he was staying so square and then just able to drive on the route. I mean, look, that's the ideal leverage to be able to drive. You're over the top, you're inside leverage, you're all over the route. And then the ability to finish the play. That's a really impressive play. I don't know if the QB throws it slightly behind the receiver. I should have got the end zone back up again, but
still a great rep.
Yeah. Are they in fire zone here as well, or is this a sim? It's a sim.
Is it drop 8 even? No, it's a late sim. Yeah. Because they're blitzing Pritchett, obviously.
That's nice. On 3rd and 3 as well. What a big stop that is. Because he doesn't get that much. I mean, this guy does not do much here. You would want him to be here, right?
Right.
That's a high-level play. That's exactly what you want to see from a corner as well. Just weird cover 2 again. Well, I don't know what that is.
It's just
4 with a wide inside release.
It's quarters, isn't it?
Yeah. But they how they play the nub is interesting.
Yeah. The weak side corner is looking to poach the final 3 from the other side before. But James
is yeah. See, now he's kind of showing off with playing square here to T-step that route.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's quick feet.
Yeah, that's nuts. Because that's where QB's looking initially as well, but he does not like the look he gets.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good picture.
Right. How do you feel about Pritchett here?
I don't like it, really. Like, gets caught looking for the ball early, and he's kind of just out of phase. I know he's got a safety there, but... And also, he's not as fast as you would... I guess he can actually recover the speed, yeah. I know he just didn't... I didn't see as much as I thought I was going to. That's nice.
I agree.
I mean, he just sort of needs to put it all together. Like, he's playing very far off, right? Probably back of his mind what happened on that last play. But to flip instantly like that is impressive. He can do that because he's got so much cushion.
Mm-hmm.
Does he get the... I think, does he force the receiver out here? I think so. Yeah, that's not a catch. I don't think. We'll find out in the next play. It wasn't. Yeah, so this is the vision with Pritchett. Look at the closing speed here. When he goes, he goes.
Yeah.
When he's got his feet in the ground and he's just able to plant, like here, there is real closing speed. It's just tying it all together with the techniques and just getting him moving comfortably, so that you can get these transitions popping up more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So, Griff, what people don't know in the chat is that you were losing your voice this morning.
I was, and then I gained it back.
And then you went on a rival podcast, and they've overworked you.
Yeah.
So, why did they take Pritchett before they took James then? Because what we seem to like James a bit more. What's the reasons, Griff?
I don't know, man. Maybe the combine, maybe they thought that would drive him up the board. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think size does come into it. When a guy's like 170-ish pounds and short,
Yeah.
I mean, 170-ish pounds bad, whatever. But there's certain size thresholds which come into it. I think Pritchett has maybe the higher ceiling if you can kind of connect it all together. I think there's a positional value thing where even with what I've said about Nichols, that generally the perimeter corner is going to be valued higher. I think also Seattle had a bigger need. Not that they draft too much for need, but they start to consider it more and more in day 3. And I think they had a bigger need at perimeter corner, which sounds odd given Mike Jackson was tendered at the time, now been restructured a bit. And also they had Trey Brown and Reek Woolen, but Jackson's contract's up after this year. Trey Brown's contract's up after this year. Reek Woolen is really facing a pivotal year for his entire NFL career. So yeah, they had more of a need at the right corner spot given Spoon and what he brings at the nickel inside. So yeah, I think all those factors, along with the stuff we probably don't know. But I even thought, I mean, let me post the article that I was talking about, guys, in the chat, and then you from that article will be able to watch video of James and Pritchett at the Senior Bowl. I even thought that James at the Senior Bowl was more impressive, as I've said. I'm kind of repeating myself here, but I just liked what I saw more from him down there too. So I guess it's cool that they got him.
Yeah.
He's almost the... Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it shakes out, their DB groupings, even in the preseason, and with what Macdonald's saying about playing matchups. But some of their corners have the ability to play inside and outside. Like Trey Brown has some nickel background, some nickel experience. James obviously has some outside experience, but is planning to be used as nickel. Spoon obviously can do it. Can't wait to see how that all shakes out. Drift. Anything else we need to cover?
I don't think so. It's going to be a really competitive cornerback room. So I want to see what happens.
There you go. Closing wisdom?
The next time we talk, let's talk about Master and Commander, Children of Men.
What? I'm not familiar. Follow Griff on Twitter at CMikeSpinMove. Follow me at Matty F Brown. Please do follow the podcast at Seattle Overload. Did I say that already? I don't think so. Anyway, that's when we'll tell you when we're next live. We'll see about Griff's voice. It's Sunday night, so we won't be going Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that type of region where, I mean, let us know. Who do you want to see next? We've covered the corners. We could do Laumea. We could do Tyrese Knight. We're going to have to do it at some point.
We should do Knight. We should do Knight.
We should do Tyrese Knight, okay. Finding cope for Knight. And obviously we'll have some Seahawks news to talk about as well, as that all filters through still. But thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Thanks so much for the donation, man. Appreciate that. And please do share the podcast with a friend, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff as well. So yeah, we'd appreciate it. Monjombo, good to see you again, man. Did you do Mike Morris tape watch last year? Lol. I don't think we did Mike Morris tape watch. I don't think we broke down his game. I think we spoke about him, but I don't. And Griff did watch him a fair bit, but we didn't do a tape watch like we're doing right now with these guys. Yeah.
Year for him in year 2.
Yeah, and like doing a tape watch of his college stuff now would be, in theory, worthless because I think based on the images, it looks like they're still going to work him on the inside, but to be decided there. If you search Mike Morris, I think Griff tweeted out a couple of his impressive sort of preseason stuff where he was learning.
He did well week 1 against the Rams, so
that's right. He did play week 1. He did, yeah, and then didn't. Oh dear. Right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Have a good rest of your Sunday.
Peace.